What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on, Luca Nation? We're going to mix it up today a little bit. We're going to do topics at the end, and I'm going to kick things off with a really cool play / kind of something I picked up. So I was watching Chappelle stand-up yesterday, but it wasn't like one of his Netflix stand-ups, which I love. I'm a huge Chappelle fan, always been. But this was an off the beaten path stand-up comedy in New York City. You can find it on HBO. I don't even remember the name. Really poor quality. It looked like it was filmed like 1999. And he was talking about just ironic events in history. And he brought up some really important people. And one guy, and Cage, you could come off mute because I'm curious. You're a boxing fan.
Yep.
Do you remember who the most famous boxer was in the 1920s?
1920s?
1920s.
Joe Louis?
This guy named Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson. When was Joe Louis?
He was. So I'm like, who is this Jack Johnson guy? I'm like, I listen to Jack Johnson. I wanted to go to Hawaii, like sitting, waiting, wishing. That's not him. He's a bigger guy. But I'm looking into him.
I know I'm old, right? But I wasn't alive in the 20s to watch boxing.
But you were a big boxing guy. You love boxing.
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, boxing's awesome, man. Boxing is a ton of fun, man. And I love boxing movies. Cinderella Man, right? Jim J. Braddock. You know.
But before there was, like, guys, you guys need to realize NBA basketball is like a 50, 40, 35-year sport, really. Soccer, non-existent in America. Football really wasn't played in that much in the 1920s. Baseball and boxing were the sports, right?
Meanwhile, Joe Louis wasn't the champ till 1937, so don't skew me on that, man. The guy was born in 1914, so in the 20s, I guess he might have started. He might have started boxing in the late 20s, but no. So he it looks like he started boxing in the 30s. So I was off a decade. All right, sorry about that, everybody.
So what are you apologizing for? So I'm going to read you guys. Jack Johnson, nicknamed Galveston Giant, was an African-American boxer who, at the height of the Jim Crow era, became the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion. Not even in the 1908 to 1915. Widely regarded as one of the most influential boxers of all time, one of the period's most dominant champions, and as the boxing legend, his 1910 fight against James Jeffries was dubbed the fight of the century. So I'm like, this guy's legit, right? Like, we have this Mayweather. I can never get the Paul brothers right, but this Mayweather versus one of the Paul brothers fight coming up. Boxing is very much in culture, and you're starting to see these guys that were a part of history that are kind of seeing the light of day again. You know, we're going after NFTs, which are futuristic, but you're seeing some amazing stuff like Frank Sinatra cards and all these cards of icons. Like, I'm sure Elvis Presley cards are probably next to pop. That's a free play, Luca Nation, if you want. But I'm looking at this Jack Johnson guy, and I'm like, this guy's kind of cool. So I go look at his cards, and he's got so many interesting cards. From 1923, the Rocket famous knockouts, Jack Johnson and Willard, PSA 4. This W.A. Churchman, Jack Johnson, PSA 5.
Yeah, the Churchmans are a cool boxing set.
So I'm going to click on the Churchman.
That too. Yeah, the Churchmans, okay. And they're not expensive. I have some Churchman cards.
How much do you think a Jack Johnson Churchman card is?
Depends. In high grade, they're pretty rare, but I mean, you probably get a mid-grade one for, $100, $200, something like that, right?
So here I'm sitting, thinking like, people are like, right now the market's a little confusing. I don't know what to buy. You have some extra capital. Most of it's probably profit. Take a chance. What do you have to lose? You're buying something so iconic in a really relevant sport where culture, you have this Jim Crow era, the first black champion for $100. I think it's a cool play.
So I'll tell you why it's even cooler than you probably even realize. I love cards and people that have stories around them. You know that Jack Johnson was actually convicted of like a bullshit crime, right? And he was convicted.
That was the joke that Chappelle was bringing up. I couldn't follow the logic, but it was exactly that.
So he was convicted. I mean, basically for having relationships with white women. Basically, was the reason he was convicted. For lack of a better way of saying it, right? And he was convicted and fled and went to Europe, and came back and actually served some time in prison and then died in 1946. Why it's crazy is he had kind of like a resurgence in popularity. Lawmakers and different groups have been appealing for a pardon. Posthumous pardons, by the way, from presidents are crazy. That means after someone's dead. People are alive, they're in jail, they're wrongfully committed, they're wrongfully, imprisoned, you name it. That stuff happens, right? But
Cage, their family's alive, right? Their family doesn't want that blemish.
Yep, and one of his grand nieces, I think, was one of the. But I mean, I remember this. It was 2018. Sylvester Stallone was lobbying. Obviously Rocky, right? He was lobbying. They lobbied Obama, and Obama did not pardon him. They lobbied President Trump. Actually, gave him a pardon in 2018. So it's cool. I mean, it's somebody who died 75 years ago. And yet was relevant, a couple years ago in the news and you name it. So, there's even that little extra story to it. So,
and now let's take it a step further. If you, and by the way, let's say you're a video editor out there, you're a director, you're a wannabe Spielberg. We once had one of those on our team. And you're out there, you're thinking, I want to create a movie that will crush in 2021. And you guys know documentaries are killing it. Movie documentaries, whatever they are, kind of, How do you not make a story about this guy? By the way, we are looking for video editors. So if you're on the other end there and you're like, that could be me. Well, maybe your start will be with Luca Nation Network. So reach out to us. We're looking for really talented video editors. But you're out there. You're like, I need a movie. I want to create a movie, right? Video, that's what directors do. They're like, what's a cool story? How is this not a guy that gets a story made after him?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Ken Burns did a documentary, the guy who did the baseball documentary about him, but it's never been kind of like a full on Hollywood movie. But yeah, I mean, could one happen? 100%. 100% could happen.
So that's my play, guys. Just search Jack Johnson PSA is what I searched in eBay if you guys are looking, because I'm sure the rookie cards, I mean, everyone's going to have a different price point and it's not even a price point, it's a different risk threshold. But there's just cool cards, man. There's a 1910. There's just the cool cards. 1910, 218.
Cool, cool looking tobacco cards,
So it's whatever you want to go with it. I thought the story was actually as cool as buying the collectible. We'll get to you, Cage. I have a few topics, guys. With the Russell Westbrook play that I gave on December 15th, I'm seeing all these graphics of his Topps Chrome selling for $2,200. Have you seen these, Cage?
Yep. Yeah. Well, everybody's paying attention to him now because he's the new triple double champ, right?
I want to say that was hands down the best play I've ever given. I did not think I would be so early and so right. When I gave that play, I truthfully thought the ceiling would have been a $600 card. If I was in at 200, I would have sold at 600 quick. I'm amazed by that run up. But then looking back, I'm actually amazed that a Tyler Hero Prism PSA 10 was more than a Russell Westbrook. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I could have if you think back to December, Tyler Hero cards were more valuable than a guy who is Oscar Robertson of today's day and age. So it just shows you how sometimes the best opportunities are the most obvious ones.
Is that a card though that might go down? You're not going to do much now. Is it a card that is ripe for he is right? It's perfectly priced right now, right? He just got the most triple doubles of all time. Oscar Robertson, he's got a great teammate, but the rest of the team doesn't seem to be doing much. It's not a team that many expect to make much noise in the playoffs. Is it a card that if you owned right now, you'd be selling?
This has instantly been my favorite episode. That's not a guest episode. This is my opinion why our show is so. That's exactly right. And what you did there, if someone picked up on it, it's the whole expectations versus earnings thing, right? We knew Westbrook was good, but his expectations in December were so low and somehow forgotten that he was this freaking good. And now what you saw was a price discovery. You're like, wait a second. This guy's average is triple-double, is the most triple-doubles in history. What was I even thinking? That just because he's been on the Houston Rockets, on OKC and Washington, that made him somehow worse? It was just this card that was beaten down. So you're absolutely right. It's found its price. I mean, you could hold it. Maybe you'll lose a little bit. Maybe you'll gain a little bit. But most of the juice has been squeezed out of it for sure.
So, all right. I mean, that's cool stuff. We're in the NBA. So I got to tell you, I'm excited, man. We got days, not weeks left until the play-in. And I'm watching basketball. I don't know if anybody out there is like me, where it's like a long season, like you don't watch it. I'm definitely getting the value out of my, my league pass now. And, I've watched Golden State play some battles here, and they've won 4 games in a row. And I'm like, all right, well, they got to be, firmly entrenched in that, 8 spot, chasing the Lakers for the 7. And, we're going to have that 7-8 spot. Win 4 games in a row. They got to be putting some distance. And yet, the Grizzlies are not going away. They're not. They won again last night, too, and they're only half game behind Golden State. So I got a couple plays for you today. But number one, and I know the pop reports, and I know the stuff, and I'm not telling you to take this and put it in your bank safety deposit box and hope to pay for Junior's college with it, right? That's not the play, right? That's not what I'm telling you. But I'm telling you right now, Ja Morant looks good. He looks good. No! This isn't my play. It's not my play. This isn't my play. It's not my play. It's not my play. It's not my play.
I was waiting for it. If you guys are on YouTube, watch. I was waiting for that, and that's my number one topic of the day. I wanted to talk about Ja Morant. Is he a top 5 point guard in the NBA? So okay, number one topic.
But his cards, his Prism selling this week for $287, $287 for a PSA 10 Prism card. I mean, that's he's gonna be in the playoffs. He's going to be in the play-in game. I don't know if they get out of I don't know if they're going to make a run or not, but at that price, at that pricing, right, even with the population increasing, and I don't even care about that we can talk. So I want to talk about whether you think he's a top 5 guy. He's filling up the stat sheets, not just the 20-something points and the score at the end and the play down the stretch. But he also, I think he had 8 rebounds and 7 assists. He didn't have a triple-double, but he was damn close. He's starting to round back into the form, I think, that people expected him to be in before he got injured. And I'm going to give the kid the benefit of the doubt, the one we saw last year, that next year, because I'm not expecting him to win a championship this year, but I'm expecting next year he's fully healthy. They build the team around him. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s got his legs back under him. They got some real talent on the team, and I expect that team to take a step. But unlike a Trae Young, who, even though he has all the stats, for some reason seems to fade as a team leader. He seems to, get blended into the team. Ja comes and stands out. They got some quality players on their team, but Ja just stands out as a leader. So I don't expect the same type of thing to happen next year with Ja as what happened with Trae. I think you're going to see that those cards should be more than that. But you're right. I mean, supply, it's demand, it's a whole bunch of stuff. We talked about Ja a million times. I've watched the games. And they win, man. They win at the end. They win when it counts. That's a team that I would have left for dead. I would have said, all right, they're not going to be there. And you know what? If not for this play-in tournament, maybe they wouldn't make the playoffs. Who knows? I guess we're probably going to never know because this year we have it. But what are your thoughts, man? You still think Ja's overrated?
Well, no, I couldn't believe the synchronicity of I always prepare guys a little 1, 2, 3 topics that I think might be interesting to you guys. Before the show. These weeks are always interesting. They happen a few times a year. They're kind of before the playoffs. MLB already kicked off, so it's kind of like this, I'll call it a dormant week. But I saw this post, and it's one of my favorite follows on Twitter and on Instagram, Cardheads. And the question was, Ja Morant said he's a top 5 point guard in the NBA. I believe he said that, or that was the gist of the topic. And, I don't think so. I really don't. I wanted to Ja. I was really wrong on him, right? So when you're wrong on someone, maybe you look at it through that lens.
Yep.
Willpower is really awesome. You love to see people that are just competitors, that are relentless, that attack time and time and time again. This Grizzlies team is pretty gritty. If you look at them, they play tough. Dylan Brooks, he gets the most fouls out of any guard in the NBA. He's competitive. He reaches a lot. Some people would say it's not good defense, but they're gritty. They want to win. At the same time, let me give you an example. Who's the most skilled player that you've ever seen play? Skills.
Skilled basketball, NBA?
Skill basketball, yes.
You mean just overall skill set? Shooting?
Skills, not athleticism. Skills. I'm talking about skills.
That's impossible. I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, like, the best talent I've ever seen play is Michael Jordan.
No, skilled. Like Tim Duncan, right? He could finish with his left hand. I'll define skills.
What are the skills, right? The best ball handler, Jason Williams, white chocolate. I mean, but he wasn't the best player.
Skills are not ball handling. Skills are like I could ball handle with my right hand with my left hand. I could finish with my right hand with my left hand.
No, that just means you're ambidextrous.
Just you could pull up mid range. You could shoot from 3. You could get to the rim and finish. You could throw you could have assist. Skill, like Tim Duncan comes to mind when I think of skills. Kobe
Tim Duncan, the skills you're saying you could do all these things. Tim Duncan's not running the point. I don't know what the criteria is, but okay. So somebody who's a well-rounded player is what you talk about. So like a Russell Westbrook, who can do basically every position kind of deal. I mean, somebody like that. I don't know exactly, where you go, but go ahead, help.
I understand. It's okay. The discourse is beautiful because if you're a basketball guy, I do believe, and everyone has a different definition for skill. You're absolutely right. So, what I'm saying,
you lost your own point. So where were we going with the skills?
I didn't lose my own point. I'm trying to understand.
Is skilled.
I didn't lose my point. Let me go. Harden is a good example of someone who's skilled. He's crafty, He's
skilled at getting fouled.
That's one of the skills, but he could finish at the cup. He has a mid-range game. He could throw assists. He could throw passes with his right hand and his left. Very skilled. He's
got skills, right? Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're on the same page.
So, and I started this by saying gritty. The Grizzlies are gritty. Okay, this is a quick episode. Don't worry. Luka Nation loves this stuff.
All right, that's all good.
Ja Morant has a limited.
The best scorers are. You give me Tracy McGrady. So we all have different definitions of the words. That's all. Skilled.
That's true.
I don't know what you mean. Skilled.
So what worries me with Ja Morant is his limited skill set. Right. To me, he's not a great shooter, and he doesn't seem like he has the skill set even to become a better shooter. His shot looks a little bit broken. Okay.
Right.
He's not even that great at finishing at the rim. He's great at dunking.
All right.
Just listen, dude.
Listening.
You know those commenters, those reactionary culture. You are those guys. Just let the point happen. He's not a great finisher.
Dude.
Why does it have to be quick? He's not. Fine, I'll wrap it. No, he's not a great at finishing at the rim. He's great at dunking the ball. He's a decent passer. I wouldn't give him that. He's a great passer. So I'm worried about his skill set long term. You look at Zion, just real quick. I'm not comparing Ja to Zion. Please don't go there. You see Zion, why does he finish so well at the cup? He's not that tall. He has a good skill set. He can finish with his right hand, with his left hand. He has a good drop step. He's quick off the bounce. These little subtleties are what let you last in the league. Like Tim Duncan, the reason he was able to last 15, 20 years is because for every move the defense gave him, he had a counter. That's what I'm talking about. So I apologize. Thank you for bearing with me, Luka Nation, not Cage. Cage jumped down my throat 16 times in a 3-minute monologue. What you think you sound like? Sorry.
I just don't know what you meant by skilled. And then, you kind of, I understand. Listen, you know what you could have said in like 20 seconds? You don't like Ja Morant's skill set. And you don't think he has room to improve to become a well-rounded player.
I'm worried about his capacity for potential improvement. He works really hard. I know he will improve. But like just improving for improvement's sake, there's people who have come in and have a very strong foundation already.
So I think the kid's got a good future and a $200-something bucks for his PSA 10. I think it's a bargain. But that's not my play. My play today is something that's 7 years in the making, right? We have a fun hobby going on now, right? We have, people are buying different things, right? People are buying different sports. People are buying, F1 cards, right? People are buying
F-U. Not F-me, F-U.
So, people are making money. F1, it's racing, it's like car racing. Like, people buying NASCAR cars. People buying all kinds of stuff. F1, look it up. Lewis Hamilton stuff. I make jokes, right? How about how Lewis Hamilton's autograph costs more than Alexander Hamilton? Remember that one?
Oh, Formula One.
Yeah, Formula One, F1. So, people are buying tennis cards, right? There's a lot of people making a lot of money on Serena Williams cards, right? People buying golf cards. People making money on golf cards. But, one of the things.
Bro, you know how much Lewis Hamilton makes? $55 million a year is his salary.
Formula One guys, man, they do well. So here's the fun, right?
Wow.
So if you wanted to, one of the things that's weird about like those offshoots, the tennis, the golf, right? You want to buy vintage basketball cards of the GOAT. You want to buy Michael Jordan cards, fine. But what collectors often do is they don't just buy the vintage stuff; they also buy some modern, right? Most people who have a Kobe and a Jordan are also buying a Luka or Zion because they're basketball collectors, right? So if you're a golf guy and you think, let me buy Tiger Woods, 2001 Upper Deck card, can you go into an LCS and buy golf cards right now? Like Panini is running out, basketball cards every 3 days as a release. Are you able to buy that stuff? I'll tell you this week, the answer is yes. Upper Deck has their first release in over 7 years of a golf licensed product. So it's pretty cool because as we've seen with 2012 Prism when it came in, or the 1986 Fleer set, when it's the first set to come back, you know what happens? You get a boatload of rookies in it, right? Because there just hasn't been licensed cards in a long time. So this set, it's 2021 Upper Deck Artifacts. If you're watching here on YouTube, take a look, guys, at our YouTube channel. This is what the box looks like. Got Jack Nicklaus right on there. All right. This is their first licensed Upper Deck product in, like I said, more than 7 years. Cool break. Love it. And you have Tiger Woods in it. You have Jack Nicklaus in it. You got Arnold Palmer in it. Greg Norman, Annika Sorensen. You got people who won majors. But you also have 40-card serial numbered rookie set. And you're talking about some legitimate rookies. You're talking about some real players. Take a look, eBay. People are just breaking these today. I mean, you're talking about like Thomas. You're talking about I'll say his name wrong. What's the French? Now the name slipped my brain. Chabot, right? You got all these guys rookie cards in here who have won. Who have won. I want to try to pull up a checklist. Who've won majors recently, right? And it's just it's their first cards. They say rookie right on them. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm looking at a picture now of a Justin Thomas RPA. It's a 1-of-1 Artifacts rookie with his autograph and a piece of gear on it, right? It's crazy the list on here. They got relics that have sand from the courses. You got Tiger Woods auto potential in this. I think it's pretty cool. Gemography's in there. You got typical Upper Deck, what looks like real cool big drive fragments, hole-in-one remnants. I mean, just cool stuff. Arnold Palmer relics. I mean, it is. I look at the checklist here, and it looks like every other card is a rookie. Male golfers, female golfers. I mean, it's Bryson DeChambeau, right? That's the guy's name. It popped into my brain again here. Justin Thomas. You got all these folks. I don't know if you're a golf guy. I bought it. Obviously, I just showed you one of these because, first of all, you guys all know my LCS does not, kill me on the pricing.
Can you show us the actual box?
Yeah, the box again. Here you go.
Your big claws are blocking everything.
So there you go. Artifacts.
Dude, I mean, after this, if we take a second, I haven't even been in the hobby this long, but Upper Deck makes the best cards. I think it's
cool stuff,
not
right?
even close.
So can I layer something on here, right? Because look, I'm gonna open this box. I'm gonna have some fun. We're gonna do it, and if your LCS has them, or you want to, I may try to get a second box and just leave it and just keep it sealed, right? Because who knows?
I don't believe you.
No, I have. I've started to keep stuff sealed, right? Because not only does it have the greats, but it's got all these rookies. Who knows who's gonna win 5 majors down the road, and people will be looking for a rookie card and the whole deal. That's the cool thing about a product like this, right? Where we talked about select football, then not only are you getting this year's rookie class, but you're getting the XRCs potentially of next year's, quarterback class in there and the like. A product like this, that's the first release they've had in a long time, it's going to have people who are winning tournaments for the next decade in it, maybe even more. But here's what's fun. I did a little research. I'm going to have to do more on this, guys, because I wanted to do a little, digging into what's in this product. And I found an article on like a radio station, but it was one of these press release articles, right? And it ends by saying Artifacts Golf will be available in select hobby shops nationwide through Upper Deck authorized internet retailers found here, and there's a link. And get ready for this one. You ready, guys? The set will also be available early this summer on Upper Deck ePack, a patent pending online platform that allows collectors to buy, open, collect, and trade digital and physical cards with fans around the world. UpperDeckEPack.com to learn more. I wonder if that's just going to be cards they're licensed for, like golf. I wonder if it's going to be old cards. I wonder if we're going to see an Upper Deck NFT of like a LeBron exquisite RPA that they had the license for way back in the day. I read that. It's just about the golf article. Now I'm all excited. I'm wondering what we got going with Upper Deck on the digital platform. It's not just Panini and Topps. Maybe Upper Deck's involved. UpperDeckEPack.com. I haven't even looked at it yet, but I plan to as soon as we're done recording. There'll be some fun stuff. It says early this summer on Upper Deck EPAC. I don't know if there's other stuff out there already, or that's going to be like the whole thing comes out in the summer, or just this golf set comes out in the summer. I don't know. But listen, that's the fun part about doing a daily podcast about sports cards. There's something else every day for us to talk about. Something else every single day. So, guys, if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday. Head on over to our YouTube channel. And you can get the video of this. You can see what the box looks like. You can see Andrew's reaction to me cutting him off when he's talking about what skilled means. He's very angry at me. But more importantly, on the YouTube channel, you'll also be able to get episode 3 of the Come Up With Cage. Andrew's pal Mike. Big Mike is my guest. Big Mike, and his crazy Facebook group. So get a load of that one. We'll Come Up With Cage episode 3. And yeah, guys.
I gotta say, what you've been doing with the Come Up is pretty cool, because one of the best pieces of content we put out that I've gotten a lot of love for was that whole, do people really want to come to a party where everyone's complaining and whining? Remember that?
Yep.
People love that. And that was a good, I guess, analogy or metaphor. But like the Come Up With Cage it is a really special show because, I mean, I think at every party you go to or at every restaurant, event, there's a host, right? There's, like, come on in, you're going to have a good time. I think that sets the mood in a lot of ways. And I think what the crypto community actually does really well, and maybe the hobby can learn from, is they're very inviting. They're very positive. They speak about the future a lot. They do those laser eyes and they try to get like Tom Brady to change his profile picture. Well, that stuff is fun. And you got to understand, for anything to grow in life, you need to sell. Everything is sales. Everything's recruitment. And that's what I urge people on the other end listen to this to realize, like, you're either you're selling or you're being sold, right? Either someone's telling you that the card hobby is the stupidest thing, or you're saying, hey, check out these really amazing things that I've heard, these stories I've heard from the hobby that have benefited people. And they Come Up With Cage.
You quoted a movie, you didn't even know it. I'm so proud of you. I'm like a proud papa. He's quoting movies. I love it.
I mean, that's a good movie. I don't know why that movie's so revered. It's pretty good. Vin Diesel's funny in every movie, but funny looking.
You're about to say how great I am, and the Come Up is the best in the world. I love it.
But the Come Up With Cage, you get to welcome people that they're doing something, because, like, listen, if you guys listen at the end, Mike's talking about how he's doing this, but he wants to go all in. He's like, and think about how many people want this to be their life, this to be their career, this to wake up every morning doing what they love. And I think it's important that we tell stories and help inspire each other to be able to do that.
Agreed. Thanks for listening to this one, Luke and H. This was a fun one, man. We spanned the century with our plays, so we don't get to do that often. It's pretty awesome. You went deep with yours.
A little, I don't know what happens. A little sequel. Yankees are in second place.
Yeah,
from last to second.
I think they're 8-2 in their last 10. Judge hit a home run yesterday. But now they got COVID. They had a couple coaches on the team with COVID, and that was announced yesterday, I think. So we'll see what happens there. So
nothing.
Who knows?
Nothing to get too excited about.
No, I mean, listen, they're only going to go as far as their pitching goes. So we'll see. I think they can catch Boston. The division, believe it or not, it's not the strongest division. It used to be like we started. The balance of power has been shifted over to National League, and don't sleep on those Giants. I told you guys about the Giants. The Giants look good, man. Giants look better than the Dodgers right now. I'm sure that won't last the whole season, but the Giants look good.
Like I said, guys, we're looking for really talented video editors. If you're interested, especially if you have a little bit of a baseball kind of love inclination, reach out to us. Maybe we'll even pay.
Never know.
We have the funds.
You never know. It might be, Andrew must have got some gelt at Hanukkah time. He's been squirreling it away.
I'm trying to earn money. I'm trying to add value and earn money. And I hope, if Luca Nation's lucky enough to have sponsorships, I mean, we have the Starstock sponsorship, which both our community and Starstock supported, and other sponsorships are coming right down the pike. We don't use that money, but it's not like we just pocket it. We want to bring more people onto the team. We want to grow this. And money just is oxygen. It allows us to do so. So if you're a video editor, you're aspiring, you want to do this 20 hours a week or 80 hours a week, or reach out. We're looking.
Thanks.